Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to play Mooncrash. Let's continue. So, we've kind of unlocked everything except for the last couple of story modes. And so we really shouldn't play this game more than another 4 to 5 hours. 2 good runs could really do it. If we get really lucky, we could also get all 5 people escaping at the same time. Like, there really isn't the best reason to, say, not just try and start, like, with the volunteer, except for the fact that we kind of just don't know where this It's All in Your Head is going to be, and we don't really know what this is. So, I guess the general idea to start with is, since we're not doing anything with the engineer now, it would make a lot of sense to run the engineer into the central location, since they're the only one that can really repair things, and then that'll give us some information, certainly. Like, the only way this really goes badly is if we wasted a lot of points, or if we, like, possibly I don't know how we could screw this up particularly badly. We could start early with a delayed loop time. That makes some sense too. Yeah, if you just have a kid character that just immediately eats it and dies, that's about the only thing that would be upsetting. And I guess we could save 500 points by not increasing our health. Arguably, though, I would say there's probably something a little bit wrong in the balance of this that I don't like, in that it is getting more and more difficult as we play, while also getting more and less difficult as we unlock skills. So it's just kind of balancing out. It's not balancing out terribly to the point where there's really a lot of room for complaints, but it definitely feels to me like it should be getting easier just over the all. I can see a mimic. Like, there really is just no reason to even take on anybody at all. Yep. See, the extra propulsion, not really necessary. You can just kind of run through this. Moon sharks aren't even really that big of a deal. And then you immediately start down here, and you're just in this pretty great position. We could be looking for any character. We should actually check where we are, just as far as where is the escape pod. The pod is available in the Moonworks. We've never done that. Crew Annex is unpowered, and Crew Annex is there. So saying, like, check out this character in the Moonworks makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Is there anything really else? Like, that you can work on here. It would make a lot of sense if at some point that corrected itself and that was no longer broken. Actual fire just on the other side of the door. Okay. And then we'll just go up here. Find the mimic or whatever that we're looking for. There's probably another mimic somewhere around here. Would definitely make sense that there would be one. Man, these guys are moving kind of slow. Okay. The Moonworks argument is like the best argument. Do we have a Typhon lure that we could possibly throw? To try and just convince as many Typhons as possible. Like in a lot of ways, that's probably only going to kill a moon shark. Okay. Meanwhile, got like a shuttle over here. I guess the question just comes down to how many spare parts do we possibly have? Well, it seems like you can take your pick of two. Two locations you'd like to blow up. Alright. We can see our corruption level, though, is increasing quite a bit there.
I'm right here.
Looks like we do have enough resources to do. Is this crew annex too? Alright. Can't really get, I think, any further into it though. Like, we've potentially just cleared out the entire central area. And, yeah. Unless I was just going to dismantle handguns, which, for repair reasons, there might be an argument for that. There's really just not a lot to do here. Let's see. As far as just like crafting things, if we could delay the time loop in some way. Again, and craft one of those, that would be nice. But we don't have like any of that resources. As far as I guess we could see if we could make a couple of control modules. We need oranges and metals. Let's see if we can recycle for oranges and metals. It's probably going to be fairly tight to do that. This would give us metal. This would give us orange. So 2 Typhon lures, handgun. Get rid of a scythe thing. Suit repair kits, starting early. We basically want 2 of these, and something has definitely found me. Right. Glue guns, disruptor batteries, ooh, wrenches. Yeah, let's get rid of the wrenches too. Definitely doesn't feel like you're actually just like succeeding very well, though. Is there just a mimic up here? I think there is. Like, so we went for points and killed a bunch of things that we won't collect resources from. Oops, wrong way. So let's just make sure we power up everything so we don't have to come back this direction. Notice how they put the fire somewhat far away from the door so you don't run into a bad scenario. Okay. So, move here. Yep. We'll run to Pytheas Labs and repair the gate. Escape, and then we'll just run out of that area fairly quickly. Like, we really don't need to do too much. Hey, there we've got some slowdown on the corruption time, so let's use that. Apparently using it early is the move. Fairly obviously, because they're getting significant reductions in corruption time doing that compared to something else. Right. As far as like atmosphere conditions or radiations, that's not really anything I'm concerned about. Just try and rush through all of this. Like, you would kind of hope if the atmosphere conditions are low that then there wouldn't be any enemies here to like give you any trouble. Alright. The escape pod is in Moonworks. the shuttles and crew annex, so it makes a lot of sense to potentially try and just get to the crew annex and escape with this character. Then that really leaves just everything in either Pytheas Lab as far as uploading your consciousness, which doesn't even seem like a option that's unlocked until you play as the director. That's a weird twist. Let's see. Just go ahead and grab some things. So yeah, you still have the hack that needs to happen, and I need spare parts. So what do? We take a standard gun. We start by, let's see, dismantling this. Give me one spare part. That sucks. But I don't think you can dismantle too many other things, so this is just going to be dismantling this. How many spare parts do we have now? We could dismantle the recycler, grenade. We could dismantle, let's split. Alright, we had enough. Alright, so that's just ready to go. As much as it can be. Alright. Guess we're looking for the code to the door to open up the door. There we go. And then we'll clear out this area and yeah, move on. A lot of ways we are really repeating the exact same. Just repeating the exact same thing over and over again. Q-beam Elite fabrication plans does make an interesting argument that maybe now we are at a point where Q-beam might be usable, but I'm not sure I really believe that. 3, 5, 1. Interesting how all the things are in different places. And seemingly only one operator. I don't know if I really need a control module, but you know, having one probably wouldn't hurt. Micro Miner Elite, I wonder what that does. Let's check that out. Wouldn't be surprised if there was something in here as far as an enemy, but it's kind of hard to have room. Okay. We just have like infinite inventory. Increase the duration of Mind Machine, Mind Jack, increase the damage of Psi attacks. Yeah, seems like maybe we increased our microminer ability, but I'm not sure if we actually did. Neuromods wise, we have 3, so we can't really do too much. Let's just drop junk and go ahead and use this to lower our corruption. Okay. And then there's just a slight question about, do we want to leave a care package for anybody? Let's see. 1 food. You know what? Like, I don't think we really have any care packages to leave. I will toss this and toss this and toss this for the moment, and toss that. Okay. And honestly, I think it is probably easier and safer. I think it may literally just be safer and easier to run across the crater to the crew annex than it would be to try and use the tram and enter an area we just have not been before. At some point we probably should try and find this volunteer, but I'm not sure. It seems like you can't even try and find him.
Calibrating.
At a certain level, I guess, if you aren't the volunteer character that you play as, then you just don't have enough reason to pick up the side things or go for the purple crates at all, other than you're just picking up random resources for kind of random reasons. The only thing that would kind of be irritating here, I guess, now, is if we ran into a sand shark anyways, or ran into a sand shark, or I don't know, just screwed up in general somehow. What is the one thing? There's something way over there. Well, instead of doing that, we'll just EMP charge right there.
Designation Bullfrog 256S. Regular harvester.
Yeah, I guess we're just basically setting up for the next character. And we can potentially get the tram set up before we just take the shuttle. Otherwise, that is all I think we really need to do here. Map-wise, yeah. The shuttle's ready to go. We have the flying ability. I doubt they're going to put any more charge on it, or restriction to it. These buildings and rooms that have locks on them, I think we've kind of seen everything that's inside of all of them. So, yeah, we're overall just in a really good position, with the slight exception that we'd like to reduce the corruption level, which let's check just to make sure we can't get away with that. And weirdly, that is kind of the only jump scare place in this entire map. There's probably a couple other places, certainly, but definitely doesn't feel like there's a lot of them. Noticeably, it does feel like you're always fairly safe when you end up here. Undoubtedly, there's probably some patterns here that would fall better. Right, so except for anti-rads now, we have enough liquid water and food for a care package for the moonshots. Yeah, it definitely feels like there's room for falling into patterns. Our corruption level goes up to level 2, really couldn't do anything about that. And certainly, even if you have elite level stuff, like, your guns still don't seem to quite work for you. It's not like one-shot kills, even at elite level. And maybe it's not really worth it to find every single piece of alcohol in the game. Somewhere around here is a phantom. And we have an escape navigation chip. Even, oh, that is nice. Have we ever even been in this room? I don't think I've ever even been in this room. That is crazy. It highlights something, certainly, though, in that a lot of stuff, a lot of this content, a lot of these rooms could be skipped with very little negative reaction there. Alright. There's something somewhere.
This is a security reminder. Typhon are essential to the safety of every crew member. If you find an active gate, please contact security immediately. Do not engage in bypass without proper authorization.
Alright. We'll take this, and then we're in trouble. We don't have a control box around here. There just isn't one. So we needed to have carried another control box, I guess, with us. And odds are almost zero, I think, that we'd find another control box, broken or otherwise. We can do a little bit of searching, I guess, but inevitably we are going to have to just leave. And it's kind of pointless to even leave a care package if the tram people can't, if you can't use the tram to reach the area. So control thing. There goes our elite gun. There's an anti-rad. That's helpful somewhat, but not super helpful. The problem here is that there just really wouldn't be a lot of places where a control box would likely sit. Kind of feels like more of these tape drives or any things should be destroyable, and they aren't. Right. So we're just wasting time now. Should look at neuromods at this point. Sure, increase your suit modification up. Increase, I guess, summon turret companion. That might be useful too. I said at the end of the last episode we really are going to hit a point where it stops even mattering if we have neuromods, because we'll just be at the maximum as far as neuromods are concerned anyways. And it definitely feels like that might be the case. Okay. Maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see. Can I do something to pop up the menu at the moment? Menu, dismantle this. This will give us 2 spare parts. Just sorting the menu in general, I think, gave us a lot of room. Neuromods. Another health kit. Probably have more than enough food to at least eat one thing. Just getting duplicate entries and extra things. What I don't want to do though is have to go back to the first floor and like I won't have to go craft a thing. Interesting, because this is the family of the U's, but not the cousin that you're playing as. Or maybe it is the cousin. Maybe it is a case that this picture, that would be an interesting twist, is actually of Riley Yu, and Morgan, I guess technically being a mimic Typhon herself, it would make a lot of sense that you wouldn't have a picture of them. Okay. There's just not an email or anything to find. Okay. Alright, well this sucks, but I guess what I'll do is I'm gonna make a care package in the inventory of this character. Like, the odds of us getting back to this character is basically none, but give him anti-rad, give him more than enough liquids, give him 5 food, give him more food, give away the health kits, a good shotgun I don't think I'll need. We'll go ahead and just use that right now and lower the corruption. Let's see. Give all of our resources over. Cyclo grenade, Typhon spores, Typhon, there's this. EMPs. We'll try and use all the neuromods now. And let's see. Brain pills is probably not bad. Coagulating gels. Let's see. What should we get rid of then? Get rid of that. To then give bullets. Suit repair kits. Possibly instead of a recycler. I don't know if you really need suit repair kits more than recyclers. Okay. And I'm just gonna eat like a ridiculous amount of food at that point to see if maybe having your full health would give you some extra benefit or extra points. We've got one mimic in the back, always. What would be annoying, certainly, is if we had a control box in the back somewhere here. It's not out of the realm of possibility, certainly, that there would be a control box somewhere in this ship. Okay. We have 3 neuromods. I think we probably should leave those just in case somebody does come back this way. Like, it's not too much to potentially say put that there, and then we're out of here. And this would be a good point for me to pause the recording. And so I think I will do that. Take a little bit of a bathroom break and then come back. Like, inherently this highlights how these runs are too long. At 40 minutes, that should have been the entire run, not just the beginnings of a run that could go a lot longer. But yeah. $10,000, $12,000, $21,000 points. And a significant amount of those points definitely seem like they're coming from the fact that you are you're coming from finding a bunch of stuff. You can see the level ups are almost completed on this character compared to our latest character, which doesn't have that many level ups, compared to this guy who's about halfway, compared to this one who's about halfway, compared to this one that's about halfway. And if the idea of Prey overall as a game was to be a game where you use Typhon abilities, it is surprising that there actually is so many characters that barely have Typhon abilities in this case. And certainly in the main game I never did that. Let's go ahead and just for safety's sake save and exit, and then we'll be in the main menu that way, just in case the game crashes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue. So I guess what we'll play as is the hacker and hope that we somehow get really, really lucky with the having enough time to do this story objective. After that point though, you pretty much just have a couple extra people who are going to be fluff characters. So what do we do as far as the hacker? It's now 2,000 to get the Q-Beam Elite 12 upgrades. I feel like there is very much a possibility that we might unlock a super elite mode or versions of weapons once we've done all the story modes. That would be interesting twist, certainly. Something that had all of the upgrades. I don't think 12 upgrades is the total amount. So let's start, I think, probably with just 2 of these. We could throw in some newer mods, but I'm not going to. And control modules, not so much. Escape pod navigation chip. You know what? I don't even think we need this. I'm gonna risk not taking that because I think we can probably just use the crafter to craft one in the side labs. It would be nice if there was a chip here that would slow down the corruption rate. But it doesn't seem like there is. We've never actually been in the pod room for the Moonworks where the escape pod is. So that'll be yet another room to check out, I suppose. With her hacking ability, I guess she could have gone back to, like, the area where she was. Like where she was faking, like, her body was. You can see how there's kind of just a default position as far as the way these characters are going to pathfind. Alright, let's go ahead and immediately use one of these. There really should just be dead moon sharks around here and nothing else. I should totally get away with running through this fairly safely. Of course, potentially running out of stamina right now could be incredibly dangerous. Yep, there's a moon shark. So being out of stamina while a moon shark is chasing after you. If anything, this I think just highlights the problem overall, in that as soon as you get that second corruption level, everything just kind of resets and becomes even more deadly. So you really can never get fully overpowered.
System malfunction. Please evacuate until repairs can be made by an
And I wonder if it isn't more of a case that there's just some upgrade that happens where you don't need oxygen anymore. Like a suit modification 1 very well could just be it. Because sworn I had left a care package here. Let's see. Must have picked it up. We need 3 metal and 3 orange. Can we possibly do that? No. Yeah, there's just no way that's gonna happen. Alright, well, we'll just move on. This is a level 2 hack this time, which I guess this means that it does kind of randomize. And there's a certain level, since we don't have to escape a certain way every time going forward, kind of would make some sense to try to escape a different way. Like I could potentially shoot myself as the hacker through the mimic portal and then have the volunteer take the shuttle. Something like that. Okay. The tentacle nest somewhere. Do we have a quest here to find anybody? Yep, we are already looking for somebody. We don't really need to check anything else. Is it worth it to potentially hack a security station like this? Probably not. If this is anything like the case of hacking in the main game, having a security robot is very likely not that useful.
Requesting operator.
Let's see. Neuromods, better shotgun, better handgun. Neuromod, Cubing Elite. Like ideally, if you could pull out better multiple security robots, then you would have something going for you there. Let's grab food. Let's see. There we go. We have an escape pod navigation chip. That was totally worth checking. Also, let's use another corruption reducer. And as stupid as it may sound, let's just deploy a couple of these. There's a control. There's some spare parts. Really just gave us everything we could possibly want. So yeah, at this point, if you have a couple of people working on your side, it makes sense. A couple of turrets and a couple of security things. Let's go ahead and eat food. I probably shouldn't eat food though, if the idea is to have a care package at the Moonworks. Alright. And that's just a safe radiation thing, so that doesn't really matter too much. You can see there's a mimic too. I think I may have accidentally shot something there. Alright. We will get rid of a standard handgun. And type and organs probably don't matter that much. And then sort and take this gun. So yeah, I see 5 plus 9 plus 3, which would be 12 upgrades for an elite. And then I see room for 2 more. Which, yeah, that definitely paints a picture that there is room for a extra version. We could just hurry. Move over to the Moonworks. Yep. A perfect version would probably be a good descriptor as far as what you would call it. Yeah, and if we unlock perfect versions of weapons that we could spend a little bit more for, that would make a lot of sense. Because otherwise, there's not really a good way to upgrade weapons. Like, we have not seen... I'm gonna go ahead and use this now. Like, yeah. I don't know what this KASMA key really is supposed to do. But yeah, we have not seen any ability. Just go ahead and take that. I probably should get stealth at some point too. Chipsets. The other thing I wanted to find out here is, where is the body? Will it show us on the map where the body is? Yes, it is that way, so let's go find that. That's where I wanted to go investigate anyways. Are we on the elite shotgun? Yes, we are. You know what? I could have just used that. I do have a slight question as far as whether what is attacking me. Hadn't killed that all the way. I mean, we could use that to take that. That's not really going to do anything. Like, I do have a slight question as to whether the statue was always like this and I was just simply not paying attention to it, or if there is a change that happened. I don't know if there's really even a good argument to taking anything otherwise. The thing that could go bad here is if we just didn't have anti-rads. That, and that, and that. In favor of holding on to that. It's kind of interesting that the health kits also don't, like, they don't take up multiple spaces, and yet they look big enough that they would take up multiple spaces compared to other items.
Hello.
Skin graft. We'll take that. Disruptor batteries. Just leaving a lot of stuff everywhere. And I really just could not care less. Okay. So, 1 liquid drink, 2 5. That should be enough of everything. Let's see. I'll take this because I'm not sure that that really is it. So that's like 5 food and 5 drinks.
Stab clear.
And we got a corruption level. We can just unlock this. So, this was the trapped location where seemingly a lot of people tried to access this terminal. Okay. I don't think there's anything else we should do. I think it would just waste a time otherwise. I almost certainly could run to the recycling place, though. Wouldn't be a terrible thought. Almost missed something there. Here we go. We'll hack this door. That's not going to be an easy path. Although, in all fairness, like, moving something around definitely does not feel like hacking. Do get extra points for every hack, so if you were just looking for points. There's the anti-rads.
Welcome. Maybe I can help you.
Please stand clear.
Okay. So that gets us the anti-rads in there. We are now set up. I'm going to go ahead and not transfer those. Use one of those. Right. So, it may be a case that this is a escape pod that literally can only be used by the hacker, or it can at least only be opened by the hacker, which then I guess I would open up a secondary path area that you'd have to pay attention to. And yeah, my goal here, while we're in this area, is to... How come I feel like I should have some suit repair kits. I definitely feel like I've been here also before. So it does feel like there's just a vent access that you could potentially have jumped down. Yeah. So there's multiple ways into this area. Maybe it was just this one door that was blocked before, or very possibly I just walked past this door and never gave it a concern. Seems likely that we would have enemies. Flashlight not really doing a lot for us. Definitely feels like these thermal mimics and characters maybe damage your weapons a little bit more. So the main goal here is to kind of rush, since we've never been here before. And I guess make sure we find as many bodies as possible. We will leave that shotgun, take that, and synthetic material definitely makes sense. I don't know if we really need a navigation chip other than maybe the KASMA key itself leads to taking your escape pod to a different location. That might be the case, and that may lead to the general idea of how the hacker that we're actually playing as, running through the simulation, might find his way off the space station. That seems like they are definitely planning to space you and just turn off the oxygen on. There was no box here, instead there's a box here. Either I don't have that many either I don't have that many bullets, or this gun only holds that many bullets, which maybe it just holds only that much. Doesn't seem like there's anything else here. Okay. So, like, recycling this doesn't make any sense at all. So just use and then use again. And stupidly, I think what we want to do here is probably just like recycle or dismantle. Like, dismantling doesn't even make sense as it goes. So recycle spare parts, recycle that. Is it worth it to like recycle that? Just sort things through. EMP control thing, cycle grenade, a little bit of food, skin grafts, a little bit more food. Okay, so if I come over here, is there a storage container or crate I can put things into so we don't have to come back too far? Yes. Leave this. Leave the better shotgun. Yeah. Leave. We'll just leave all the shotgun shells. Skeletal repair, health kits, food, derma, resources, this. So all we really have is just like 5 neuromods, and we'll see if we can use all 5. Yeah, there we go. Something better not attack me, obviously, because I've got nothing. I left myself completely open for potentially an attack if there was going to be a mimic in here. Fortunately, though, It doesn't seem like we have to do anything there. And so we're out the escape pod. Are we going to get any special dialogue or anything like this? I don't know. And I don't know what the KASMA key was all about. I honestly don't know if I would have unlocked the KASMA spy character at all if I had blown up her shuttle in the story mission. Alright. 13,000 more points. Puts us in a good position. And furthermore, it now just feels like we need to focus on this and this alone and hope we have enough time to pull it off. It'd be nice if we had the elite shotgun, if that is just going to be the highest level of shotgun. We definitely have enough points now though, so like, start early and delay more time loops as much as possible. We'll take a propulsion system. I don't know if we need a control module. I hope we don't. So I'm going to be a little careful there. I could potentially take yet another delayed time loop. But arguably there's just nothing else that's really that necessary. Get extra points, yes. And in this case, I will give him extra health. And yeah, I just don't know if we really need to spend the 1,000 points to increase the propulsion system, particularly since we're not using the B while airborne to activate. Right. The extra propulsion is very useful in that one scenario when you're trying to use the mass driver to escape, and pretty much useless everywhere else. Like, it's helpful certainly, but not necessary. It also definitely feels like we are never going to get the escape pod just in the center crater, or that the odds are low enough to the point where it is unlikely that that's going to happen. Okay. We need to look at the map to try and figure out where the objectives is. Find the memory marker in the Pytheas lab. That puts us in a good position. We know exactly where we're going and what we're doing then. Unless it just points us further towards something else. I wonder if this is a case where the memory has something to do with the cell 3, and then that means we will just never really be able to accomplish this memory unless we had played as the director and gotten the director's permission, or hacked the director's computer with the other. We can run right past the Weaver. Assuming that I have the MP. Yep. If anything, it kind of feels like the propulsion lab here. It kind of feels like that might call the moon sharks to you, like the vibrations of the propulsion jet.
Supply system malfunction.
Worst case scenario here, I guess, would be we would not be able to pull off the
You probably didn't see me there.
this memory. Oh, actually, I think that works fairly well. Right.
Reactivation in 3, 2, 2, 1.
Typhon material detected.
Wow, I almost died there.
Reactivation in 3.
Yeah, it's activating because it's detecting me as a Typhon. Is that worth reading? Probably not. That probably didn't give me any real points. Okay. So we were in this one, I guess, not the others. How do we open the door? You're a Typhon. So. Yeah, there is a real danger, certainly, in accidentally not finding this pathway and feeling like you've locked yourself into an area when technically you haven't, but you might as well assume you had. Okay. Is there anything special to grab around here? No. Alright. Unlock. 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 Yeah, I thought maybe this was the case. That we were gonna have to do something like that. It looks like we're looking for that other prisoner. Probably.
Typhon material detected.
This guy, whoever was in the cell, I think he is kind of a character that plays a bigger story as far as the experiments that were done. Well, that certainly would be nice to have, but whatever. Mostly this is just going to come down to
3, 2, 2, 1.
Typhon material detected.
there's no way you would have been able to really race to like race to get out of the area. So we have a telepath 2.
Papa, it's me, Alexei. We can be together again. But you have to do what I say. It's very important. Okay, Papa? Okay, Papa? There's something you have to do for me. For us. So we can do together. It's what you want. You have to find my toy. You missed my birthday. Miss so many. I think about toy all the time. Remember, it's what you want. Find my toy.
So visually, you have a telepath there, and that seems like that just jumped up to corruption level 4. Visually there, you have a telepath telling you something. My question to ask on that, though, is... Alright, so that's in the crew annex. So off to the crew annex we go, I guess? Let's see if we can use the tram. Do we have a control thing? Could we possibly craft a control thing? There's kind of no reason not to go down the Typhon route once we've already started that. Yeah. The toy, I assume, is something else, and that this is a trick. But I'm still very much questioning whether Lexi is the name of the hacker's kid, or whether Lexi is the name of a kid that the volunteer had. Let's see. Here we've got another control module. It may not help us though. Wait. Yeah. It's not going to help us any. Why? Wait a minute. Is everybody now no longer hostile to me? Yeah. I'm getting the feeling nobody's hostile to me anymore. This might be an interesting twist in which we start fighting humans, but if we started fighting humans, then humans would have to show up out of the place.
Scanning. Neural imaging. Psychological potential.
Right. Well, color me confused, because it does just feel like we are potentially not going to be attacked by anything at all, and I don't know, like maybe harvesters and things like that will start attacking me. Like, I assume the case that's happening here. Are we gonna get attacked by like a nightmare?
Gate reactivation.
And I don't want to really just stand around and find out if the moon shark is going to play nice with everything else. Oh, it is. It is straight up going to play nice. Do I have an EMP charge? Because that's the only thing that's going to get me through this door. Oh, darn it. Burrow. So, yeah, we don't need the EMP. That's good to find out. It almost seems like we would just have a telepath following us secretly off screen this whole time, and that we are just one of those telekinetically
Attention, everyone.
controlled characters.
Our head custodian, Claire would like to remind everyone that your mom doesn't work on Pythias.
We should check the map. Okay, the toy is at the tower.
So let's all do our best to practice restroom etiquette and leave things in as good a condition as we found it. Thank you.
Just taking another control module. Definitely just feels like a weird twist. Like, could we have pulled this off? Where's the door? Should be a door somewhere here. There it is. Like, suppose it's an interesting twist that could have been taken to a further extreme, certainly, as far as just if you put enough effort into making yourself a Typhon, then the Typhons would just not attack you at all. Seems like the cysts still attack you. No?
Is it what you want? You want me to be far. No. You wanted us to not.
Here's that care package we left. Forgot about that. Alright, well, we should definitely heal. Just heal. It definitely feels like Alexei is the child of the hacker. And so it feels like the telepath here, if not all Typhons together, are agreeing to work with you and help you as the hacker, possibly because that's just beneficial for both parties, possibly because they're nicer than they seem, possibly this telepath is special. I mean, at a certain level, it does definitely feel like we've already been around this area a couple times. It feels like the TranStar and Alex U were potentially manipulating and messing with the Typhons, not the other way around, like the Typhons are an invading force. Okay, it says the toy should be mass driver shopping list. That's an interesting place to find it. That's the toy. Should be right there. How would we reach the toy? If we don't have a leverage ability, I think we could unlock even if we were going to do this. Extra regeneration, certainly nice. We've got all kinds of stuff as far as food. We don't have the ability to dismantle things, and I don't think that's even an option. There's nothing more to this. Okay. So there's got to be an extra way up. Ah, there is. Has this always been here? I guess it probably has. And this is very much like getting in that higher area.
You found it. My toy. Take it to the spaceships. The little ones. It's what you want.
So we're now taking the toy, which is probably some kind of like mimic of some sort, maybe even a special one. I guess the question though is, if we already have escaped with the escape pods, can we escape with an escape pod? Escape in the mass driver, escape in the escape pod back at the Pytheas Labs. Right. This actually should be fairly easy. I'm still not really sure why the assistoid nests attack you in that case, and really wouldn't make a lot of sense for other things to attack you. And yeah, we'll just wait. No reason to fight a glue turret. Off to the Pytheas Labs we go. Keep an eye on the corruption level. Would there be a reason to ever go back to the crew annex? Probably not. Because really what this is going to boil down to is, if we can keep the corruption level low enough, we'll escape with the director. And yeah, we'll just escape with the director by uploading their consciousness, and then we would escape with the other one. We have chipsets. I might as well equip it. Okay. So there's this whole floor escape pod. Is that where we're going? I guess that is. Down that way. I'm hoping. We probably should make an escape pod navigation chip just in case. What's interesting about this is going to leave us I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this. Just because it was hurting me. Interesting, it talked when I shot it too. Disruptor batteries we can get rid of. Typhon spores. Let's actually see if we can get rid of actually quite a bit of resources. Just because I'm not sure I really need them. Let's see. Size. 6 food. Blue canisters. Get rid of those drinks. The things that are stacking I'm keeping, and the things that are less stacking I'm getting rid of. Basically what I'm trying to do is make just a massive amount of resources so that we can craft. Wow, we've got some elite things here. You know, escape module chip to start with. So we have one of those. Then neuromods or delay time loop. I guess the question is, if I use this now, I can make an argument to crafting another one of those and delaying the time loop some more. However, at that point it is just give me neuromods. But even at that, we are creating a situation where we're going to be still kind of in some weird positions. Right. Like, we have 5 neuromods here. Kinetic blast, or burrow more, or super thermal. We'll take super thermal to level 3. So 5, 10, 15, 23 plus another 5 would be 28 for Typhons and 8 for this. So 31 more neuromods before this character would be fully at the highest level possible. I'm going to go ahead and leave a care package of these resources and an entire stack of shotgun shells. We will take half of these drinks and leave them there. Health kits. Like, I don't think I need the health kits either, so we'll just play it safe. A suit repair kit. Use a couple of those and then leave that. And then food. That leaves us with very little resources, but very possibly no need for any resources either. There is a thought, certainly, if you have a mimic gate that would potentially take you to Earth automatically, then is there really a need to use the spaceship at all? It seems like the mimics have maybe, through the process of converting matter into thread.
You're so close. So close as mommy and mama. You have a toy spaceship.
Okay. EMP charge.
Area secure.
I'm just gonna throw it this way. That didn't work. Alright.
Typhon material detected.
So what is the goal? I don't want to screw this up. Escape an escape pod with Alex's toy. Lexi, my boy, I did what you said I did. Okay.
Oh, Papa. I'm going to be so happy with my toy.
It's a little Russian nesting doll.
So proud of you. So proud of you, Papa.
So there your head explodes. So we completed the story, but we didn't escape. Interesting. So one of the storylines doesn't have all 5 of the people escaping, which means we've just blown our possible run as far as everybody escaping. But it gave us, well, actually not even that many points. 9,000 points isn't that much. That is definitely not a storyline you would want to do a second time. Okay. So now we have a situation where we have this character that can run and go through the mass driver as far as corruption level goes, and then this character can use the escape of the can't remove the other shotgun though. The mimic portal, and the other guy can use the mass driver. I think that works particularly well. And I think we probably will have enough time to just buy one of these delay time loops. They're pretty expensive. We don't need any control mods. We don't need the psychoscope. The 1,000 points we spend for this chip every run, I question the value in that. It probably pays itself back, but I'm not sure all of these do. But I'd rather win. It's just more fun to win. Oh, what would suck now is if we were inside the Scilabs, which we are. Well, what's the best way to get to the Moonworks? What in the world is that? That is a nightmare. These guys are not ignoring me anymore. And oxygen's definitely not hurting him. That being said, it doesn't seem like even a nightmare is that hard to run away from. That's probably because they couldn't make it too difficult, and they probably do want to try and encourage you to fight it a little bit more, whereas the main game wasn't particularly that interested in that.
Claire would like to remind everyone that
Like the main game definitely pushed you more towards the idea of
good condition as we found it. Thank you.
just take a couple of things of food. Yep. It was much more open around the idea of just fleeing the nightmares or dismissing the nightmares. Here we go. Power is still off. I could have repaired that almost certainly. I think I had the engineer in this area. I don't know what I'm even really trying to do as far as collecting resources. This is just a run. I mean, this is just a quick run we're trying to do here. That jump is still a little too tight for its own good. I definitely wouldn't have succeeded anywhere as much had I not figured out that you can catch just like the edge of the round part of that piece of furniture. And then that gets you up to that point, and then jump from that point. Okay. There's just like nothing else that needs to even be done. Just use our flying ability to fly a little bit smoother. I don't know if that really worked better. And then you just use your propulsion forward to get to this point. See, there potentially could have been a whole like nightmare in the next room right in front of me, and it really wouldn't even mattered. So the next question is just, what is the absolute bare minimum amount of resources I can spend with Director U? And even though we're getting endings that are pretty quick in these last couple, you still have a lot of time that you're committing to this. I could definitely see the next run being the final run. It really is just going to come down to what clean sweep is. If clean sweep literally is that you have to go and have all 5 of the characters escape before you escape, that'd be weird. I bet clean sweep actually is to go to the supply rooms. That would make more sense. Okay. Am I gonna need an EMP? I don't think so. Should I take a delay time loop? Yes. I hope I didn't miss out on having a delay time loop. We'll take a propulsion system. Also, wish you could kind of sell some of these purchases. We'll take more points. And yeah, we could try to be a bit crazy on it, certainly, and try and fight the nightmare. It may also be a case that the nightmare is always in the Pytheas lab, because obviously it was in the containment of the Pytheas lab, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it escapes containment at any point at random and then teleports itself at any point at random, and that there is really no consistency. So that introduces the corruption. Now, unless I've misremembered here, you really don't run out of time until corruption level 5 is all the way to the maximum. So some of these characters, they basically have nothing on them. Worst case scenario, without the extra propulsion system, you fail miserably. I guess the only thought I could have is what's going to attack me up there if I went up there. It's probably not worth checking out. Like, if I was going to get fancy with it, I may have found everybody too in the entire game. There's a Pytheas Labs character called Yulo Tomorrow that maybe that has more to do with something else, and then there's a Moonworks character here and this character. That's the only one I can even click on. The others just weren't letting me click on them. Whatever. So there's more people to find. It's probably too dangerous to go that way. Use our morph ability. We probably have plenty of psi power. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the KASMA key unlocks the supply crates. And then that... Wow, I didn't realize things could just be up here. I very possibly walked past a couple of things. That one glitching through the ground and the table still is... That's a little bug that could have been addressed, I think, fairly easily. Escape pod navigation chip, just in case we need it. Engineers, not really needed. Is there anything more here? No, but compared to getting just one anti-rad, that was better. I don't know if there's really even a benefit so much for lowering the corruption level a little bit. Like, you can't, it seems fairly obvious you can't lower the corruption level down a number, so we can't go back to corruption level 3. It'd be nice if you could. So you're really just buying yourself time.
Supply system malfunction. Made by an engineer.
I guess the question will just come down to, is there a nightmare somewhere around here? Because I guess it could be walking anywhere. I'm burnt. These operators are just kind of constantly at odds with you one way or the other. Lower the corruption level. We'll go ahead and recycle. The question is, would we have enough resources for neuromod? No. Is it then worth it to try for anything else? What can we recycle? Spare parts, Psy-Hypnose. Let's see, this we need a cooling thing more than anything. Alright, we got a nightmare. I don't know if it really was the nightmare that even killed me there. Actually, I suffocated somehow. Wow. I guess suffocation was a possibility? I don't know. I'm still not really sure how that works. Oh well. At the end of the day, this run has worked out well enough. So, the story mission of this character is completed. So any way he could possibly have escaped now makes sense. I am going to have to think that Andreas Alakana here has gotten an actual name. I feel like they were just calling him the volunteer before, but maybe he always had a name. I just wasn't paying attention. And I do think that they were using the memory of his actual child, because I think the hackers has a daughter, not a boy. This one we've done. We now know there really is only 5 ways to escape properly. The only thing I guess to potentially consider is if maybe Clean Sweep will give us yet another way to escape. Once this story objective is done, though, I'm not sure I really have that much of a motivation to play on for trying to escape with 5 crew members in a single run. I wouldn't be surprised if the story overall, the story of the hacker, stops after we finish the story of the custodian's objective. If not, then you do have to escape with 5 crew members in a single run, which, okay, that would be a little bit challenging, but maybe not that challenging if we no longer have to do any story objectives, because let's face it, in this last run, had I just been focused on escaping through the Mimic portal, I would have had plenty of opportunity to do it with this guy. And Riley, you ran into some bad luck because of the nightmare, and maybe once we finish the story run, we'll have even more difficult versions. Mass Driver was easily accomplished. Custodian did take a lot of time in that run also, and the Engineer set us up nicely also. I guess we still are mostly in a situation though where the Engineer setting things up is probably the best order of operations, like playing as the Engineer to clear out the area at first of the crater center, and then fixing the Mimic Gate and possibly fixing a couple of other things that might need to be fixed. Let's go ahead and save by exiting just to make sure the game is actually saving. Alright, so I almost believe the amount of time played here. Like, I typically do pause the game and end up with run times in game being hundreds of hours inaccurate to the amount of actual time I spent playing the game, but 20 hours does seem somewhat realistic. Maybe not quite 20 hours in total, but it seems close. Arguably though, I definitely would say I think had this been a 10-hour DLC and it left me wanting more, that might have been a better way to implement a DLC experience instead of having every run be twice as long. And maybe you would have just fixed that by doubling the sprinting time of characters and having them really run and gun like twice as fast, or reducing the difficulty and bullet sponginess of characters. Even at elite level shotguns, we still are taking 2 or 3 shots to kill a thermal phantom at point blank range, when really that feels like it should be a one-shot kill. But yeah, I think at this point I can definitely say I've enjoyed Prey Mooncrash a lot more than I enjoyed Prey itself. And yeah, if I was going to come back several years later and play one of the two, I would probably pick Prey Mooncrash. Although once you've done everything, it'll only just be slightly more random. You definitely aren't getting a roguelite experience on the level of something like Rogue Legacy, where the whole idea is to play the same run over and over again and it be very varied. Or Binding of Isaac is even a better example, where almost every single run is undistinguishable from the previous run because so much is randomized. There's very little being randomized here. The crater is always in the center, the Pytheas lab is always at the top, Moonworks are always in the lower right, Crew Annex always at the lower left. The layout of the rooms and the floors are exactly the same every time. There's just slight variations as far as different spawn points where some bodies may show up if they're special bodies, or some items may show up. There's a lot of collectibles in this game that are just really not that necessary, and the different levels of weapons aren't really that necessary. There's definitely an alternate version of this where you would just use neuromods to upgrade the weapons, or you would have gotten a simulation hack that upgraded all the weapons you picked up as you played further along the game, instead of there being different ranks. It almost feels like this was thinking at some early stage that this was going to be a live service game, and there would be multiplayers playing this over and over again, something like Destiny. And yeah, there definitely is not enough content here, or enough of a concept here, that you could have made a long-running game as service type product. The multiplayer aspect around this alone would be a little weird. Yeah, I don't know if I can think of a single Fortnite style player versus player type game with a lot of special abilities that has become super popular compared to, say, Fortnite, where that is just mostly running and gunning and building if you're in build mode. once you start having the ability to mimic objects, then you're starting to make something closer to like a 3D Among Us, which if that was the only gameplay mechanic and it was really well polished, that might work. There was a game before Among Us that was a Minecraft mod where you could turn into different Minecraft objects and it was hide and seek, but the running and gunning aspect on top of the hide and seek by mimicking objects contradicts and muddles the ideas. Well, I guess I'll leave this episode at that idea, because otherwise I could just sit here for another 20 minutes and talk. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.